It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to the Science Bowl, the science game show here in the Prince George's County Public Schools, where we bring together elementary and middle school students and test their IQ. Play along and test your own today. Here we are at the start of our 29th season. Let's meet our first two teams. First from Stephen Decatur, would you please say hello to Angel Wahami, Haley Spurrier, and Tamari Fort. And from Thomas Pullen Middle School, would you please say hello to Erica Morrissey, Deborah Amatosha, and Micaiah Holder. And now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing, and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on the Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty, with the easier questions on the left worth 5 and 10 points, the tougher ones worth 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest question of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points apiece. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. Into the 2 rounds today, one of these 2 good-looking teams will come back to play our game again and perhaps advance to the middle school semifinals. Let's go over and make sure everything's working properly. Let's go to the red team, and Haley, would you try your buzzer for me? Thank you. Looks and sounds good. Good luck to you, to Tamara, and to Angel and Thomas Pullen. Deborah, would you try yours? All right. The green team looks like it's ready and raring to go. Good luck to Deborah and to Micaiah and Erica. All right, ladies, are we ready to do this? Yeah, kind of a weak yes over there. We're gonna get them excited as we go along. We're gonna have a great game no matter what happens. Feel good about yourself because you're ambassadors for your school. You're the elite students, and we're just so happy you're here today. Let's have a good game. We go alphabetically S before T, so Stephen Decatur and Haley, let's play the bowl.
Let's get physical for 15.
Let's get physical for 15 points. Teams, soft-boiled egg eaters oftentimes will eat even a little bit of the shell so as to get a little bit extra of this chemical element good for teeth and bones. Stephen Decatur.
Calcium.
You got it, calcium. Eating eggshells, I don't know about that, but a little bit doesn't hurt. Go.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points. Teams, on the side of a cigarette package, they warn you about tar and nicotine. They also warn you about this colorless, odorless, deadly gas that you can inhale while smoking a cigarette. Can you name it? Thomas Pullen?
Carbon monoxide.
You got it. CO, carbon monoxide. Well done. Go green.
Zoo Parade for 5.
Zoo Parade for 5 points. Teams, in the latest version of Godzilla, the monster has these kinds of, it has fins on its back, like what signature kind of fin on a shark?
The dorsal
Haley.
fin?
Dorsal fin, yeah. A whole series of dorsal fins along the back of that monster that ate Tokyo. Go.
Science potpourri for 15.
Science potpourri for 15 points. Teams, if you know how shad and salmon spawn, eels are the exact opposite. They're known as catadromous, meaning they go from what kind of water to what kind of water to spawn. Deborah.
Cold to warm.
Not cold to warm. Good try. Salmon and shad do the exact opposite of eels when it comes to spawning. Eels go from what kind of water to what kind of water, Stephen Decatur?
Salt water to fresh water?
That's what salmon do. They do the reverse. They go from fresh water to salt water. Okay, try green.
Body systems for 10, please.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, those sudden muscle contractions that LeBron James got when he was playing in an arena that was too hot are the same kinds of sudden muscle contractions you can get if you go swimming too soon after you eat. Those are known as these.
Cramps.
Stephen Decatur.
Cramps.
Cramps, absolutely right. Good, go.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, allergies decline as you get older because what body system starts to be less effective in senior citizens? Name that body system, Thomas Pullen.
The immune system.
Immune system. Nicely done. Good. Green.
Let's get physical for 5.
Let's get physical for 5 points, teams. Alpha Centauri, Antares, and Sirius are all names of these kinds of heavenly bodies. The best name for one, I think, is Betelgeuse. They are all names of what kind of heavenly body? They're all stars. They're all stars. Alpha Centauri being the closest one to us after the sun. Go green.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points, teams. If you go downtown Washington to the National Geographic building, right now you can see a life-size replica of Spinosaurus, the biggest, baddest predator that ever walked the earth. Even bigger and badder than what other dinosaur that was the standard of badness? Thomas Pullen?
T-Rex.
T-Rex. Yep, go.
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline for 10 points, teams. Alessandro Volta, James Watt, and Andre Ampere are all scientists who have been immortalized because their last names are used as units of what kind of energy? Haley.
Electricity.
Electricity. Yes, ma'am. Good. Go.
Zoo parade for 15.
Zoo parade for 15 points. Teams, before I ask the question, a score update. Stephen Decatur, 90. Thomas Pullen, 85. Almost a dead heat. This is Zoo parade for 15 points. Teams, groupers are giant-sized fish. And zoologists describe them as proteigenous hermaphrodites, which is a big way of saying that they are able to change what? Deborah.
Genders.
Genders, absolutely right. They can become males or females depending on the hormonal flow. Nicely done. Thank you, Micaiah, for your assist. Go green.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5 points, teams. If you came here today with no real idea what you were going to do, Haley and Deborah might have said to the two of you on either side, let's just play this by what? Haley?
Ear.
Ear, that's right. That's the organ, the body organ. Go.
Dateline science for 15.
Dateline for 15 points. Teams, back in the Middle Ages, if they pulled someone out and they thought was a drowning victim who could be saved, they would put them on the back of a horse and move it around the track, hoping that the person would start to breathe again. That was a precursor to what modern day method of trying to revive people who might be recoverable.
CPR.
CPR, yes indeed, go. Whoa, the buzzer has rung, and boy, what a great game. We're going back and forth. Look at that score. Stephen Decatur 110, Thomas Pullen 100. 6 outstanding young ladies. We'll be back with them in just a few moments. Don't you go away.
Let's be real. There are days when every mom wants to tell her kids to take a hike.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
Because when you take us hiking,
Or let us run outside,
acting silly,
getting dirty,
and helping in the garden,
you're not only making your day better,
you're making our lives healthier and happier.
playing outside is not only fun,
It helps us feel our best inside and out.
so next time when Mom wants you to take a hike,
Tell her to go to beoutthere.org to find fun ideas for helping kids enjoy the great outdoors.
let's be honest, it's not bad for the parents either.
They're so cute at this age. Be out there!
And welcome back to Science Bowl. So good to have you here today at the opening of our 29th season. We couldn't have asked for 6 better competitors, 6 young ladies who know their science and so much more. Let's go over and talk to them. Let's go first to Stephen Decatur. And Haley, so nice to have you here. First of all, tell us about Stephen Decatur. Where in Prince George's County is it?
Clinton.
Clinton. And who's your principal?
Mr. Cyrus.
Mr. Cyrus, I know he's a big supporter of Science Bowl. He oftentimes comes with the team here. And who's the sponsor of your team?
Miss England.
And she is out here as well, and she will be out in just a few moments at the end of the game, so we can thank her. And did you have any alternates on your team? Who do you have?
Kyra, I don't know her last name. McCall, there we go, Kyra McCall.
Wonderful, and an integral part of that team. Haley, tell me what it is about Decatur that you really like, that you brag about.
We actually have sports teams now, and we have a band and orchestra, which are really good.
Wow. Do you play an instrument?
Yes.
What do you play?
The string bass.
String bass. And you're also an athlete. You play soccer and you run.
Yes.
And you have in mind a career in the Air Force. Is that right?
Yes.
Tell me about your family. You said your family has a history of military service.
My father is in the Air Force, and then my grandfather on my dad's side was in the Navy, and my grandfather on my mom's side was in the Army.
Wow. So you're going to be part of that long tradition. I think that's just tremendous. What do you like to do in your spare time?
I like to read, and then I'll do like soccer and running, and I'll write poems.
Wonderful. Great to have you here. You're a great captain. Tamara, nice to have you with us today. Tell me about, you're interested in performance, right? Or
Yes.
maybe the law. So those are, well, if you're a lawyer, you got to perform in front of the jury. You got to convince people. Have you always been a performer?
Yes.
Yeah. And tell me where you might want to go to school.
I want to either go to NYU or VCU.
VCU, that's wonderful. Have other people in your family gone there before you, or would you be the first?
I'd be the first.
The first. What do you do in your spare time?
In my spare time, I like to play the violin. I like act, dance, and sing. I like drawing.
Wonderful. Well, you have a full life there, and you bring a lot to our game here today. And Angel, tell me about yourself. This young lady writes poetry, or you write. I know you like to write,
Yes.
and you like to read, and she wants to be a teacher someday. And I think you'd be a good teacher. You listen well, and that's what good teachers do. How'd you get interested in teaching?
Well, my mom's a pre-K teacher in Concord Elementary School.
Wow. So you'd be following in her footsteps, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And tell me a little bit about what you do in your spare time if you're not reading and writing.
Well, I play basketball. I'm in the FIBA, that's like for Filipinos Americans.
Yes.
And it's for young people.
Wonderful. So you're a scholar athlete, and
Yes,
you're
sir.
doing very well here. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thomas Pullen, nice to have you here. Thomas Pullen, a performing arts school not far from our studio here in Landover. And who's your principal, Deborah?
Miss Lucas Adams.
Wonderful. And I know she's behind you today, and your sponsor, Mr. Manning, is here, and he's been bringing wonderful teams over the years, and we appreciate all his efforts. A tremendous science teacher, great asset to the county. And tell me a little bit about the alternates. Did you have any?
The what?
Alternates?
Oh, yes, we have 2 alternates, Brittany and John.
Wonderful. We'll bring them out with Mr. Manning in just a few moments. And if Deborah looks familiar to you, it's because she was here last year, correct? And nice to have you back again. Tell people about your career aspirations.
Really, I want to, I'm thinking about pursuing music because I've been doing it for so long, so I might as well.
Yes.
But I'm not sure yet.
And you're a violinist, is that correct? Yes, you
Yes.
play the violin. I know Tamara plays the violin, and I think Micaiah also plays the violin. So, you know, we could have had a musical interlude here on Science Bowl today. It takes a lot of discipline to be that good, and we wish you a lot of luck. Before I leave you, Deborah, tell me about Thomas Pullen. I was asking Haley what it was about Stephen Decatur that she was proudest of. What do you like best about your school?
The arts program.
Yeah.
We have some really talented kids in our school. So
And,
everyone does one thing or another, like art or music or drama or some like dance and stuff like that.
And so many of the Pullen graduates have gone on to great careers in the arts. I know one of the students was on Broadway playing in The Lion King, a graduate of Thomas Pullen. So you know, you're in a great place to be launched into something creative. Micaiah, nice to have you with us today.
Thank you.
Tell me about what you want to do someday.
I would like to one day either go to the Manhattan School of the Arts or to go to Juilliard and then become a symphony violinist.
Wonderful. The gold standards of schools for violinists and musicians up there. What do you do in your spare time if you're not practicing?
I draw and I read and I sing and I talk.
Wow, you do a lot of things, yes. You have a wonderful voice. You project very well, too. Erica, nice to have you with us today. Now, you're welcome. Tell us about yourself. What do you like to do in your spare time?
I read a lot, and when I'm not reading, I'm either doing homework, which I seem to get a lot of lately, or I am practicing my flute, or sleeping.
Or sleeping. Yes, sleeping is not to be underestimated.
Right.
And if you can grab it, boy, just grab it because it's so restorative. Nice to have you on the program today. Let's get back to our game. 100 for Pullen, 110 for Stephen Decatur. All of the high-valued questions are left. Ladies, good luck as we enter round 2. We had the last correct answer from Haley, so start us out.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points is a visual question. Look at the monitor in the studio if you would, please. Teams, one of the oldest living organisms on Earth is that green blob in the center. It is a kind of non-flowering plant with very small stems and very tiny leaves, a kind of plant that we normally associate with growing on the north side of a tree to give you directions. Can you name that plant, Deborah?
Moss.
It is indeed moss. You're looking at the high desert in Chile, and again, that moss, that particular organism is thought to be over 2,000 years old. Go green.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Teams, the microscopic plants and animals that float near or at the surface of the ocean are also the creature that is the nemesis of Mr. Krabs on SpongeBob, Haley.
Plankton.
Plankton, that's right. He never seems to win, does he? Go, red.
Let's get physical for 20.
Let's get physical for 20 points. Teams, a multiple choice question. Super moons. We've had 3 of them this year. That's when a full moon is closest to Earth in its orbit. Is that closest point in the moon's orbit the apogee, the perigee, or the filigree? No one going to try? Haley?
Pass it to Tamara.
The apogee?
Not the apogee, the closest point in the moon's orbit where the moon is closest to the Earth. Is it the perigee, the apogee, or the filigree?
The filigree.
It's the one neither of you chose. It's the perigee. The perigee is the closest point in the orbit. Good try, no points that time. Try again, Haley.
Dateline science for 5.
Dateline science for 5 points. Teams, the people in Oklahoma are used to tornadoes, but what they're not used to are these seismological events that have been occurring because of so much fracking. Deborah?
Earthquakes.
Earthquakes, yes indeed. They're fracking, they're breaking up the earth, and they're setting off these tremblers that are registering on the Richter scale. Nicely done. Go, green.
Science potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5 points. You know, if you knew what went into certain kinds of breads that are being sold in health food stores, you might not eat them because the flour is made up of ground up chirping arthropods, meaning the bread is made out of these insects. Thomas Pullen.
Grasshoppers?
Not grasshoppers. What kind of chirping arthropods are being ground up to make certain kinds of breads?
Crickets?
Crickets is right. Crickets. Chirping is what we're looking for. Nice try, Erica. Go red.
Science potpourri for 20.
Potpourri for 20 points. Teams, a book out called The Girls of Atomic City are about women in World War II who took jobs in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, not knowing they were involved in a program for enriching this chemical element that was being used to make the atomic bomb. Name that chemical element that is enriched to make bombs. Thomas Pullen.
I'm going to pass it to Micaiah.
I think it's plutonium.
Not plutonium. Good try. Good try. What enriched chemical element was being used in that project in Oak Ridge to make the atomic bomb, unbeknownst to the women who worked there?
Uranium?
Uranium, yes. Good comeback. Good. Go. Red.
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline science for 20 points. Teams, there were red faces all around at a local lab in Frederick when vials of this disease that we all used to be vaccinated against, but which has been wiped off the face of the earth, were found unattended. Smallpox. Smallpox. Go. Red. Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
It's all right.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Teams, people suffering from this L-initial bacterial disease that can cause facial disfigurement were at one time in this country shunned by society and kept in colonies. Thomas Pullen?
Leprosy.
Leprosy, yes ma'am. Leper colonies is what they were called. Good. Score right now, 140 to 140. Dead heat. Go green.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, Billionaire Bill Gates of Microsoft recently invested $10 million to develop a super version of this most popular American fruit that supplies a lot of potassium if you eat it. Thomas Pullen.
Bananas.
Yeah, he wants a super banana. That's what he's hoping for. Go green.
Zoo parade for 10.
Zoo parade for 10 points. Teams, one of the recent meteor showers came from the constellation Camelopardalis, which is the scientific name for what African animal that does indeed look like a long-necked camel crossed with a leopard? Thomas Pullen.
A giraffe.
Yes, a giraffe. Absolutely right. Camelopardalis. Go green.
Zoo parade for 20.
Zoo parade for 20 points. Visual question. Look at the monitor in the studio, please. Teams, this little rabbit-like creature got worldwide attention recently when Will and Kate took their new baby, Prince George, to Australia and had him cuddle it. This is a bilby. And like most animals in Australia, it is pouched, making it what kind of animal? Thomas Pullen.
Marsupial.
It is indeed a marsupial, just like wombats and koalas and kangaroos. Good. Go. Green.
Dateline signs for 20.
Dateline for 20 points. Dateline for 20, I think we did do that with smallpox. Is that correct, judges? Yes. So Dateline for 20 is not available. 25 is available in that category. So Deborah, would you choose again, please?
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Teams, in the movie The Little Mermaid, Sebastian sang Under the Sea. The seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake because presumably it had more of what pigment? Thomas Pullen.
Chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll, absolutely right. Good. Green.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25. Big one in that category, teams. A flower is considered perfect only if it has both male and female reproductive parts, meaning it must have pistils and these. For 25 points, what also must be present, Thomas Pullen?
Stamens.
Yes, the stamens, absolutely right. Good. 4 questions left. 5 questions. Where?
Zoo parade for 25.
Zoo parade for 25 points. Teams, your question is as follows. We all know that certain animals lay eggs, but some snakes are considered ovoviviparous because they produce eggs, but they don't lay them. They give birth to live young. But unlike humans and most mammals, what connection is missing between those newborns and the mother? Thomas Pullen?
Is it lactation?
Not lactation necessarily. No, what connection now? What connection is missing between the newborn and the mother? What's missing there, Haley?
The umbilical cord.
Which is part of, it's attached to what?
The womb.
Judges? We're going to give you credit for that. Yes, umbilical cord will work. Placenta is what they were hoping for, but you got credit for that. Go red.
Let's get physical for 25.
Let's get physical for 25 points. Teams, there's a new chemistry set out for kids. It only costs $5. It's low tech. Has 15 chemicals inside, one of which is Benedict's solution, which if you add it to milk, causes the milk to turn orange, indicating that lactose is present. Lactose being what kind of chemical? What is lactose? A kind of what? Sugar. Sugar. That's why people who are lactose intolerant can't drink milk. Go, green. Which is it green, yes?
I thought it was red.
Is green the...
No, it was red.
It's red? Red. All right, let's flip that light so I know what I'm doing. Thank you.
Science potpourri for 25.
Science potpourri for 25 points. Teams, all the rage last summer was the Ice Bucket Challenge. Dump the ice on your head to raise money to cure what disease? Deborah.
ALS.
ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or Lou Gehrig's. You got it, young lady. Good, go.
Body systems for 25.
Body systems for 25 points. Teams, you've all seen the commercial. People spell their names and then they spell out the disease. I am DAVE and I have COPD, meaning I have constructive, I have COPD. What does the P stand for? What disease? Chronic obstructive P disease. Yes, Deborah.
Pulmonary.
Pulmonary, absolutely right. Good, go. 2 questions left.
Well, you said the dateline for 25 was available.
It
right?
is indeed.
Okay.
Yes, dateline for 25. It's a multiple choice question. Teams, a telescope was recently used to search for the first exoplanets, those beyond our solar system. The telescope was named for a German astronomer who came up with laws dictating how planets move around the sun. Was that telescope named for Webb, Hubble, or Kepler? Which of those three, Thomas Pullen?
Hubble.
Not Hubble. No, the telescope that found the first exoplanet. Was it the Webb telescope, the Hubble telescope, or the Kepler telescope, Haley?
Kepler?
Kepler, yes indeed. Last question of the game, body systems for 25 points, teams. Judges, I think pulmonary was already used, so that would be it. Do we have any questions left? We do not. That means our game is over. We will recheck that score and be back with you in a moment and tell you our winner. Don't go away.
Simple moments are what make every day count.
And welcome back. Hope you enjoyed this game at home as much as we did here in the studio. We could not have hoped for a better game to launch our new season. 6 outstanding young ladies, and they weren't alone. Let's go over and look at that final tally today. To Stephen Decatur, 190. Thomas Pullen, 275. Deborah, Micaiah, and Erica, let's see those nice big smiles you've got over there. John Patrick and Brittany, wave to everybody, please. And Mr. Manning, the one and only. Great spots. We'll see you in the next game. I want to see some big smiles, too. You guys played a terrific game. Angel and Haley and Tamara, you're just wonderful. We don't want you to go. And Kaya, waved everybody back there. She's a great part of this team. Miss Anglin, we loved what you did here. And Mr. Cyrus, their principal, never misses. He is the best. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. We'll see you next time on Science Bowl. Bye-bye now.